What's going on, everybody? I'm Papa Flannel, and today we're doing an oil change. Actually, I already did the oil change. I just ran out of daylight, and I did not film the intro. But anyway, let's travel back in time and see how that oil change is done. Alright, to do your oil change, you're going to need a piece of cardboard, an oil pan, gasket, washer, and the filter itself, a rag, some gloves for protection, kind of optional, some brake clean, some aluminum foil, a trash bag for your trash and your pan, a ratchet, an extension, different sizes recommended, some dyno juice, 2 quarts of 10W30, OEM Honda preferred, a socket set, thin wall preferred for that, and some safety glasses because you have to be safe, and an impact if you're lazy like me. On the right side of the motorcycle is where your oil filter lives. Go ahead and clean the area with some brake clean. That way you don't get any debris in there when it's time to take it apart. Just wipe down microfiber towel. Now would be a good time to wrap the exhaust with aluminum foil, and you're going to find out in a second why. So with an 8mm socket, go ahead and loosen the 4 bolts that are holding the oil filter housing in place. Do not use a regular size socket, use a thin wall, because as you can see, it does not fit. If you have hand tools, you're using hand tools, you might need an extension to get back there. And then once they're loose, just kind of remove them by hand. There is a spring there, so you might have to push in as you're taking the bolts out. Now once you're at this point, make sure that you don't drop that spring, the 4 bolts, the oil filter, and that gasket. It just pops out, and then you might want to inspect if there's any metal shavings or anything like that, since it will tell you the overall health of your engine. It should just be oil in there. While that's dripping on the other side, come to the opposite side by the shifter and the hoses, and then you'll see the drain bolt for the oil. This is a 12mm, so go ahead, crack it loose, and let stuff drain. Now it's a good time to check those hoses too, while you're here. I'll leave a video up there for you to check that out. And while things continue to drain on the opposite side, go ahead and take your bolt, give it a nice cleaning, replace that crush washer too. It's only a couple cents and it helps with leaks. Okay, now it's time to put the new filter back on. So you'll notice that the filter has an outside and an inside. This is the outside. The opposite side is the inside. So just align that rubber part with the little notch that's inside the housing. Next, you're going to want to install the gasket. There's only one way you could put this in. So just kind of align that big hole. And now the housing here has a spring. This might want to pop out on you, but the big hole goes with the big hole in the engine block and the gasket. That spring might want to pop out on you. So just go ahead and align it to the best of your ability. And when you put in those bolts, make sure that it goes through the filter housing, the block, and the gasket. Since the gasket will try to move on you as well. Go ahead and start these by hand. I would not recommend that you use power tools for this section, as you could damage the gasket if you miss the hole. So as mentioned earlier, go ahead and tighten these down by hand using a star pattern, because that spring will try to fight you. So like you see with my thumb, I'm holding it down and then tightening the bolts. And if you're wondering why I'm not using a socket, it's because it's like like a 10mm. It went missing when I needed it. Again, this is an 8mm socket. And it's a tight fit, so you might need an extension, a thin wall, remember. Go ahead and tighten until it's nice and snug. I've heard that these are prone to breaking, so I wouldn't use a torque wrench or anything like that. But if you feel like you want to use the torque wrench, it is a 9 foot-pounds. But for me, 20,000 miles and I don't know how many oil changes and just tightening by hand until they're snug has worked out for me. Don't forget to reinstall your drain plug there with your new crush washer. That is a 12 mm socket. Uh, and then again, I've always just as long as they're snug, but if you'd like to, it's 18 foot-pounds if you'd like to torque that down. Okay, and once you're finished, go ahead and run some brake clean and wipe it down, as this will help you identify any leaks if you forgot to tighten something down or if that did not sit properly. All right, let's loosen the filler cap there. It's right above the oil filter housing. If you have a funnel handy, a good time to, put it up there. You're going to use 1.5 quarts of 10W30 motorcycle oil. Car oil is a little bit different uh, than motorcycle oil. So just make sure that the oil that you're using meets the specifications in your owner's manual. Also, depending on where you live, if you live in hotter climates, you can use thicker oil. Again, this information is in the owner's manual. But for most conditions, 1030 works great. Don't forget to install your oil filler cap. And then one more time, go ahead and clean your work area in case you didn't use a funnel and spilled oil. And then remove that aluminum foil. And, if you did accidentally drip a little bit of oil in there, go ahead and clean that up too. Now, a good thing to note is that you might see a little smoke when you start riding the bike. That's because it's burning all the oil that might have not been cleaned up by the brake clean. Now, after you're done with your oil change, you probably want to check your oil. So run the bike, maybe 5 minutes, give or take. Shut it off, let it cool down for 3. And then off the little window, there's 2 tick marks, a lower and an upper. It's kind of like a dipstick in the car. So with the motorcycle on its stand, you're going to tilt it so it's nice and level. Sometimes it helps having a second person sit on the motorcycle and have it, straight for you to check. But if you're by yourself, do it this way. So with the bike on the bike stand, and then go ahead and tilt this that way, because if you have it tilted this way, it's gonna fall on you. Tilt it this way, grab the seat here. There you go. It's straight. And then you're gonna check the little window. Obviously it's dark, but you would do this on the daytime. And it has to be between the upper and lower level. I already did it with a flashlight, so I know it's good. But if you're a little low, go ahead and add some oil until you reach that point. If you add too much, that's bad. Just go ahead and drain it and then just repeat. If there's too little, we'll obviously add some, right? So that's pretty much it. And if you're wondering what the hell am I talking about, there's the low, and that little tick mark right there, right here, is the high, low, high, low. So you want your oil to be between these two. And as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Now let's get out of here and get some sleep.